Hello, it is Foundation Friday, October 6th, 2023. Steve Sipress here, and I ought to know better than to come outside of the house during the hottest time of the day when it's over 100 degrees out. What am I thinking? Well, it's been kind of nice for the last couple of weeks, but we got a little blast of heat here today in the way too hot and way too sunny Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona. Again, we've been here 8 years now. We ought to know better by now. We don't come out of the house on purpose at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon on 100 plus degree days. What am I doing? But you know what? I'm out here, so let's get it over with. And speaking of that, we're about to get this entire book over with. We have been for, I didn't look back, but it's well over a year, could possibly be close to 2 years. We've been going over this fantastic foundational book, The Magic of Thinking Big, by Dr. David J. Schwartz. Go out and get yourself a copy and give copies to everyone you care about. And we have completed all 13 chapters in our review, and we are now into the final review of the entire book in 6 sections, 6 concepts, 6 ways that Dr. Schwartz is going to suggest we use to help us in life's most crucial situations. So let's get right to it. There is magic in thinking big, but it is so easy to forget. So when you hit some rough spots, notice it's not if, it's when you hit rough spots, there is danger that your thinking will shrink in size and you'll no longer be thinking big, and when it does, you lose. So here are some brief guides, 6 of them, for staying big when you're tempted to be small. Perhaps you might want to put these guides on small cards for handy references. Let's get right to it. Number 1, when people try to drive you down, think big. To be sure, there are some people who want you to lose, to experience misfortune, but these people cannot hurt you if you'll remember 3 things. Number 1, you win when you refuse to fight petty people. Fighting little people reduces you to their size. Stay big. Number 2, expect to be sniped at. It's proof that you're growing, that you're over the target, that you're doing something. And number 3, remind yourself that snipers are psychologically sick. Be big and feel sorry for them. And this book was written decades before social media. This is extremely important right now in the social media world. There are haters and trolls and losers all over the place trying to snipe at you and take you down, and do not sink to their level. Think and act big. Think big enough to be immune of the attacks of petty people. Number 2, when that I haven't got what it takes feeling creeps up on you, think big. Remember, if you think you're weak, you are. If you think you're inadequate, you are. If you think you're second class, you are. Whip that natural tendency to sell yourself short with these 3 tools. Number 1, look important. It helps you to think important. How you look on the outside has a lot to do with how you feel on the inside. And so I wake up every morning here and look out the window and see the palm trees and the cactus and the sunshine, and I think I'm on vacation, so I put on a stupid red Hawaiian shirt, but then I get to work. But if I'm actually selling and making an important deal and doing business, I wear the uniform of doing business, of sales. I wear the white button-down shirt with the blue blazer, and as I showed my clients who were here last week for the All-Star Entrepreneur Mastermind, I have a closet full of blue blazers and white button-down shirts, probably 15 white button-down shirts, about half a dozen blue blazers. But then I have another closet with, I think, 24 or 25 of these stupid red Hawaiian shirts. So sometimes I wear the stupid red Hawaiian shirt, but when I really want to look important, I know that'll help me to how I feel on the inside when it's important to dress for business. Number 2, concentrate on your assets. Build a sell yourself on yourself commercial and use it. Learn to supercharge yourself. Know your positive self. And number 3, put other people in proper perspective. The other person is just another human being. So why be afraid of him or her? Think big enough to see how good you really are. Number 3, in the magic of thinking big, in life's 3rd most crucial situation, how to use the magic of thinking big. This is when an argument or a quarrel seems inevitable. Think big. Successfully resist the temptation to argue and quarrel by these 2 things. Number 1, ask yourself honestly now, is this thing really important enough to argue about? And number 2, remind yourself, you never gain anything from an argument, you always lose something. So think big enough to see that quarrels, arguments, feuds, and fusses, especially again in the online world, will never help you get where you want to go. Number 4 way to use the magic of thinking big in life's most crucial situations is when you feel defeated, think big. It is not possible to achieve large success without hardships and setbacks. Again, not a question of if, question of when. But it is possible to live the rest of your life without defeat. Big thinkers react to setbacks in this way. Let me just turn the page here. Always tough with one hand. Here are 2 ways. Just had to see there's no more than 2. Ways to react to setbacks, being a big thinker. Number 1, regard the setback as a lesson. Learn from it, research it, use it to propel you forward, salvage something from every setback. And number 2, blend persistence with experimentation. Back off and start afresh with a new approach. And in that way, now I am turning the page, you will think big enough to see that defeat is a state of mind, nothing more. Number 5, and this is not in the business world, but it's a big part of life, so I will mention it here. This book was written to people in business, personal life, everything. Of course, you're likely to be watching this, reading it, listening to it if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, but this is a big part of every life. It's about romance. When romance starts to slip, again, not a question of if, question of when, think big. Negative, petty, she or he is unfair to me, so I'll get even type of thinking slaughters romance, destroys the affection that can be yours. Do this when things aren't going right in the love department. 2 things to do. Number 1, concentrate on the biggest qualities in the person you want to love you. Put little things where they belong, in second place. And number 2, do something special for your mate and do it often. Think big enough to find the secret to marital joys. And finally, the 6th and final way to use the magic of thinking big in life's most crucial situations is when you feel your progress in work is slowing down, think big. No matter what you do, and regardless of your occupation, your business, your industry, your status, higher status and higher pay comes from one thing: increasing the quality and quantity of your output. So do this one thing. Think I can do better. The best is not attainable. There's room for doing everything better. Nothing in this world is being done as well as it could be. And when you think I can do better, ways to do better will appear. Thinking I can do better switches on your creative power. So think big enough to see that if you put service first, money takes care of itself. And the final words, in the words of that famous household name that I don't know anyone's ever heard of, Publius Cyrus. Don't quote me on that. Publius Cyrus. For some reason, Dr. Schwartz chose to end the book with this quote from Publius Cyrus. A wise man will be master of his mind. A fool will be its slave. Please, I'm pretty sure you don't want to be a slave. You want to be a master of your own mind. You want to be a master of the magic of thinking big. We thank Dr. David J. Schwartz, and I thank you for being here through the entire series, for being here today, for watching on the replay, for scrolling back and binging every episode on this book, or going out and getting your own copy or getting the audio book and all that kind of stuff. Fantastic foundational book. And that means that next Foundational Friday, we will be starting in a new foundational book. If you want to give me your ideas or your input, let me know any way you want, on a comment, wherever you're reading this, hearing it, seeing it. You can send me a comment or a post or a private message on a Twitter or X or Facebook or my LinkedIn or my blog or my podcast, or wherever you're seeing this, whatever, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to go into my vast library and I'm going to choose what I think is a fantastic foundational book, and we will start that study next Foundation Friday. For now, hope you're enjoying, hopefully not as hot as it is here, but a fantastic day. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I will catch you tomorrow on Social Media Saturday. I'll help you make money using social media. Catch you then. Over and out. Bye-bye.